What it is, what it do. You tune into the Jose Morales podcast. I'm your host, Jose Morales. We're back in the ring. This time, first time that I'm having a boxing coach that has a boxing gym so close to me. We are competitors. Technically, people look at it that way. Or how do you talk to somebody so close to you? How do you do business? Or this guy's been solid, great people's, great gym, great energy. Everything about this guy I love. His name is Abraham. He is the head coach at Roseville Boxing Academy, which is on Galilee, right here by the DMV in Roseville, California. And everything as far as him and I he's just solid. So I wanted to get him on, get familiar with his story. He's originally from Arizona, and now he's had his business for 15 years, and he shared a lot of good insights as far as the hats he has to wear, different hats as a coach, as a mentor, as a father, and a husband. So great episode. Here it is. All right, here's my guy, Abe. And I was just telling him, thank you first for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me, sir.
This guy here is probably one of the guys that's so genuine, and I always got good vibes from him, good energy every time I interact with him. And then a funny story, well, not funny story, a fun fact. Our boxing gyms are 2 miles apart on the same street,
Yeah.
same exact street, 2 miles apart. And we've been close to each other since I've been here, 9 years, 8 years. He's been, how long in business?
Going on 15.
Going on 15 years. And he's been my neighbor the entire time. And never, ever has he talked smack, has he ever walked or treated me a certain way or treated me like a competition or treated me different because we're so close to each other, which you would think it would be that way. So all these things say so much about his character. And I was like, dude, I got to have him on the podcast. I want to talk to him. Plus, he has an amazing story. But we have so much to talk about as far as coaching and being a coach, a business owner, a father, and a husband, all these things mixed into one. And I think he'd be a perfect guy to have on. So, Abe, thank you for being on, brother. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
You're the man. So welcome.
Thank you.
How you feel? How you feel being on?
I feel good, man. I feel good. Thanks for having me.
Yep. So let's jump on it, man. Give me this. Give me a little history of you. Where you're from, where'd you grow up, where were you born? Let's start with that.
Born and raised in Tucson, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The home of the Wildcats.
Yes, that's a couple hours south of Phoenix, right?
Yeah, a couple hours south of Phoenix. Probably, and South Tucson's probably less than an hour from the Nogales border. Yeah. So,
hot.
Yeah.
It's like 115, 120.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. And even more so in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Like it's hot, man. You're like.
So you were born and raised there?
Born in Tucson,
And you were there until what age? So you were there your whole life?
Yeah, basically my whole life until 2009 when I moved over here.
Oh, so until 2009, all you knew was Tucson.
Tucson, man.
So tell me what Tucson's like. Tell me what your upbringing was like.
Man. I
Mom
love
and dad in love?
Yeah.
Involved?
Yeah.
How many brothers and sisters?
I have 2 brothers.
2 brothers.
Oldest of 3 boys. Yeah.
Oldest of 3 boys.
Yeah. Oldest of 3 boys. Lost my youngest one in a motorcycle accident in 2007. Yeah. Thank you, sir. But yeah. The oldest, toughened them up until they got bigger than me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's cool.
It was cool, man. But I actually started late, man, in boxing. It wasn't really, you see a lot of these kids start younger. I started late. I was always a fan, but I started late in high school, trying to get in shape. I've been an athlete my whole life, playing basketball, football, golf, just everything. I just love athletics, kept me out of trouble. So yeah. But I actually started a little bit, later than when people would think,
Mm-hmm.
You see a lot of kids in boxing, 8, 9, 10,
Mm-hmm. What was your upbringing like? Was it
was good, man. It was good.
Good upbringing?
Yeah.
Tell me about your competitions. Did you compete?
I did compete in amateurs. You didn't have a lot of extensive amateur career, under 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I started in South Tucson Boxing Gym.
Mm-hmm.
South Tucson with Miguel Madrid and his dad, Carlos Madrid. Miguel was an amateur, and his dad was like a promoter, Nogales. You know,
Yeah.
he did promoting and managing fighters there. So that was my first, you know, I'm gonna join a gym. You know, graduating high school was like I want to do something. You know, I went to school to play football, man. Went to sports, you know, and so I'm kind of in a rut after high school. I didn't know what to do. I was enrolled in college and what have you, but that was my first start, South Tucson Boxing Gym. It was good. That's where I learned the basics, everything. And then Carlos ended up passing away. And then
Your coach?
yeah, the coach, but actually Miguel's dad,
Oh my God.
you know, who
Yeah.
kind of operated everything.
Yeah.
So that was tough. And then I relocated to another gym a little further up north in Boxing Inc. out of Tucson, Arizona. Real good. Shout out to Boxing Inc. Man, they and the owners there. And that's where I met Brad Carlton, and he's the coach who then from there brought me more into the amateurs and competition, Golden Gloves, and then
Yeah.
you know further on. I had my
Yeah.
first amateur bout there with Madrid's, but then I went on and I went to
You started
Brad
doing
Carlton.
tournaments and doing
right,
more.
right, the competition. Yep, yes,
Yep.
sir. Mm-hmm.
And then from there, how old were you at this time when you started doing it? When you had Boxing Inc.
It's a good question. I'm in early 20s. I'm gonna say.
Okay, early 20s.
Yeah.
And then what happens next? What made you stop competing?
So I competed from 2004, 7, 8, and then I was also working there at the gym as well too. And then I needed eye surgery too to like my goal. I wanted to turn pro, you know, and I needed eye surgery. And I was actually scheduled for my debut in Obregon. And I failed the eye exam. I needed to get some what's it, like a retina surgery and stuff like that. And then kind of once I heard that, I'm like, well, I'm gonna stop for a little bit. And then that was that. And then eventually, it's crazy. I was training, and I was just training a client, and like, you know, what are we doing? What do you do for a living? And he's like, I'm an ophthalmologist. So he ended up giving me a surgery. He's like, hey man, I'll give you the surgery, and then you can go on and compete professionally. So that was cool, man.
So
that was
one
really,
of your clients.
yeah, ended up being an ophthalmologist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I believe that was like it was, man. It was. And funny enough, he was the apprentice of a doctor who did Sugar Rays.
What?
Yeah. So it was cool. He brought me in the office, had a big old fake eyeball, and said, "This is what we're gonna do, and this is the retina. This is what it is." So,
which eye was it?
Dude, I don't remember. I want to say right.
Oh, okay. So then after that, you ended up doing your pro fight,
and then I had my pro debut. Sadly lost that fight, man. But that was.
Was it in Mexico?
No. It was actually in Tucson.
Oh, in Tucson.
Yeah, it was in Tucson. I saw, you know. Looking back at it, that was a tough time for me. That's when I recently lost my brother. I think I fought like 3 months after.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Yeah. Looking back, and I probably wasn't there. But mentally, man, and as you know, that's
everything.
That's everything, brother.
Yeah, it's everything.
You know what I mean? So
you got to be locked in mentally.
You do. But hey, take nothing away from.
So this is 07, 08, and then
yes, sir.
And then and then in 09, what made you want to come over here?
So actually, my wife was also competing in boxing. I met her there through the gym and
you met her
in Arizona.
Boxing?
Yeah, that's where we met there. And then she graduated. She wanted to go into law enforcement. I was still trying to finish school there in Tucson, and so she relocated here. Her grandparents were here, and they were sick, and her parents wanted to take care of them, and they relocated. And I actually got so she's here, I'm there. We're doing the long distance thing. You know, it sucked for a while, and then it went through something like a grants or something. It didn't go through with her law enforcement, and she was working part-time at Mr. Marinoble's martial arts.
I know Marinobles.
Yeah. Shout out to Dave Marinobles.
Yeah.
And so it didn't go through with her with the police. I don't know, something happened. Grants to get her involved to do the what do they go through the processing of
I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, me neither, right? and then I'm over there trying to finish school, and man, I'm dragging it. You know what I mean? It's a tough time, and it just so happened, Dave's like, hey, we have a boxing program that the coach there, something happened. he relocated. I don't know what happened, but would your boyfriend want to come over here and take, do the program? We can talk business and what have you. So I thought about it, man. I prayed about it, and I ended up making that move and came over here.
Damn, talk about meant to be. That's a trip.
Right, and at literally the same week that it didn't fall out for her, I was actually put on academic probation because of my grades, and dude, it was tough. I was in a rough spot at that time, man. And it just happened, and then he got with her at the time and said, hey, so would you want to come up here and do the program? And I came up here, I flew up here, and we talked and met him, and
then you loved it.
Yeah.
Loved the city.
Oh man, no, California. I've been down south, but when I first let my eyes up, it's different.
It's a whole nother world.
I thought it was beaches and palm trees and stuff up here. No way.
No, yeah, north and south is two different worlds.
I hear that.
I tell people that all the time. Like when I talk to people on the East Coast, and like, oh, I've been to LA, I'm like, then you haven't been to where I'm from.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because it's not the same.
No, it's not. It's not. And I love it, man.
Yeah, that's tight. So then you came through, had your, you started, how long did you coach at Mary Nobles?
Shortly, because I moved up here late 08 or early 09, and that could be off. But then I opened doors for myself 2010. So maybe about a year.
Yeah.
And then,
I remember when you opened the gym.
Okay.
What I remember is in 2010, I was working here at Primetime.
Okay.
And that's when I quit here. But I remember when I quit, a lot of people were talking about this new boxing gym that opened. And that new boxing gym that opened was your gym.
Oh, right on, man.
And I remember hearing about it. And I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember when I stopped by your gym?
I do, sir. Yeah.
Do you remember?
When I first met you. Yeah.
What do you remember about it?
Your personality, man. It was awesome. You were great. I don't really remember but cool guy.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, I got those vibes right away. Man, this guy's a cool guy. This is somebody that I can, it's always good to have that relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even my coaches, you know Hyman, and you met Mike, and they're like, man, that is such a good thing. And Coach Mike's always saying that you have such a good relationship with Jose Morales and the other guys here too. He's like, we need that for the community. The boxers, they need that. We need to be plugged into one another.
And plus, you set an example. Like, if, for example, me, I think of it as, even like as a father or as a coach, if you show hatred or you show anger or jealousy, envious towards people, your athletes see that. Does that make sense? And then your athletes kind of fall into that same trend, or they see that because that is what they're used to. Does that make sense? 100%. So that's why, to me, it's also 100%. Very important to make sure you set a good example.
Yeah.
But anyways, 100%. What I was going to tell you about that story is when I met you, during that time when I went to the gym, because it wasn't in 2010. I think it was probably like 3 years later, maybe 3 years later, 2013.
Okay.
I wanted to volunteer at a boxing gym and coach. So I came to your gym because I wanted to just volunteer. And I think I was there for not that long. It was short.
Okay.
And I was helping for a couple, maybe a week. I don't remember how long it was. Do you remember?
Vaguely, man.
Yeah, and I just came in. I was like, I just want to help. I just want to coach. And what the reason why I wanted to stop by your gym is because I had remembered there was a new boxing gym that opened, and I had never met the person. Well, you know what? I'm gonna stop by. But the reason why I didn't continue with it was because I was coming from South Sac. So from South Sac over here, and I was working. It was a little bit of a drive, but I wanted to for sure meet you, and I definitely got good advice from you. And I remember you even had a little barber chair in the back.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy's tight, man. He's cutting hair. He's doing it all.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's cool. So then you open doors. What made you want to have a boxing gym? Like what grew in your heart, or like what was it that you're like, you know what? I want to have a boxing gym.
Man, that's a good question. So after high school, I actually was working at UPS. So I was as I was going to school. So it was like in the morning, classes, grab something to eat, shoot on down the boxing gym, train, and then go to UPS and wait, and then rinse, wash, and repeat. That's what I did, And that was at South Tucson after relocating in Madrid, and I think that they closed down shop there. I went to the Boxing Incorporated, and just like your gym, man, good vibes. I was like, wow, this is a cool spot. Coming in and just the music and the energy, and it was fun. You know what I mean? It was fun, and we're passionate about it. You know, you're passionate about it. So the owner was like, hey man, you want to teach some classes here? You want to, so that's what kind of plugged me in. So I was teaching and then ended up managing the Northside gym. And then so I really got the gist of the logistics and stuff about, running the gym in Tucson. And man, I was going to school at the time, but I'm like, okay, I got this career at UPS and that's good, but shucking boxes for 20, 30 years?
Yeah.
That hit.
That's not something you wanted to do.
So, and I thought long and hard about that. You know what I mean? Like,
what intrigued you about a boxing gym business? What about it? Is it because you knew it? Is it because you're familiar with it, or is it something you saw in it?
There's that as well. All of the above. All the above. But just the energy of going to work. You know what I mean? And you're actually
doing something you love.
That's it. Like really, really love. That it's you're changing lives. You're with the kids and I'm sure you see these kids from 10 to 18 and then the other generation comes in and you're doing it all over, and then they come back, they're firemen, they're in the Marines. It's like, wow, they come back. Hey, coach, thank you.
Yeah.
Their parents.
They say that. Yep.
Hey, man, thank you.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Very true. What is something that for you as a coach struggle with? What is something as a coach that is hard for you?
That's a good question. That I struggle with as a coach.
I'm gonna ask you three. It's gonna be struggle as a coach, struggle as a business owner, and struggle as managing both. Those are the three questions I'm gonna ask you. But I'm gonna start with the first one. As a coach, what is something you struggle with?
Just because you're a good coach with these kids, it doesn't mean for example, you can be a great coach, which you are, but trying to they come in here though, they're gonna have to figure it out on themselves, the same way you did, the same way I did. You know what I mean? And okay. I say this often. It's like when it's good and everything's good, it's like right on, coach.
Yeah.
When it's not, it's like this guy. Yeah. So maybe that's one and probably more. I mean, that's a great question, man.
No, that's a good point though. I love how you said that because it happens in all sports. And I was just talking about it familiar with basketball with the Kings, and them switching their coach and so forth. But when it always comes down to the coach when they're losing. But when they're winning, they praise the athlete. They praise the players. It's all them. They don't really talk about the coach.
There you go.
But when it's losing, it doesn't go down to the athlete no more. It's now the coach.
Sure.
So it's not a balanced thing. Does that make sense? So
100%.
I 100% agree with you. That's definitely something that's tough. And I'll pitch in a little bit on me, on my feelings, because it is tough for me on the emotional side.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's hard how you like not losing sleep. I lose sleep over like when we lose, I'm depressed. I always no joke. For real, I be depressed.
It'll ruin your weekend, huh?
Yeah, it ruins it. Like when I go to nationals and we lose or a fight, it just puts me in a down mood. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So that's something that's difficult for me. Is trying to disconnect and not let it affect me so much.
Right.
Now, how about as a business owner? What's something tough for you as a business owner?
Maybe like other business, the ups and the downs, and you're not gonna please everybody.
Yep, you're not.
You're not gonna please everybody. You know what I mean?
It's very true.
That's right. You're not gonna please everybody, and even Jesus had haters. I don't know, man. Like,
it's true.
You know what I mean?
And I'm a firm believer too that there's no perfect place, and there's no like for example, this guy may come here, love it here, and hate it there, or vice versa. Go there, love it there, hate it here, or do better here and do bad there, or vice versa. Every person has somebody or something that works better for them.
Right.
That makes sense. So that's why there's no having a, a different options and different things. There's and more boxing gyms. I think is great. But yeah, I don't think there's nothing wrong with just one way of doing everything. That makes sense.
Oh, we're just talking about that. There's
Yeah,
thousands, you know what
yeah.
I
There's
mean?
the same thing
Yeah,
with fighting. Yeah, same
100%,
thing.
100%.
How do you handle? Or maybe now that we're talking about gyms and business, what's something that differentiates Roseville Boxing Academy from any other thing, any other gym,
Mm.
in your opinion? Since you know the gym more than anything.
That one thing that's big is I like them to use my gym and boxing as a vessel for life.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like not you know what I mean? I got a lot of young kids that don't understand the ins and outs. I don't blame, a box. I want to be a boxer one day, coach. Okay, it's cool, you know what I mean? Um, but everything you learn in this game, transition it in a positive way to life.
yeah.
But I don't think that's any different than what you do or
Hmm.
any. I just that's what I'm passionate about, and I
Yeah.
want this is a therapy session for many people.
Yep.
You know,
And to be honest, I feel like most boxing coaches that are coaches that thrive on coaching
mm-hmm.
feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, if you're a world champion, great. If you do something in boxing, great. But what's greater for me is what you do outside of boxing
Right.
with what you learn in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I preach heavy here. It's like, look, I don't care what happens with you in your boxing career. You can have the greatest or the shittiest boxing career. But what you do after boxing is what's gonna affect me and make me the most proud. That
Mm-hmm.
I can lay down and be like, damn, he owns a business now. Damn, he's got kids. He's
Right.
taking care. He's a good
Right.
father. He works here. He does
Right.
that. He's that to me feel like I succeeded as a coach, mentoring you. If all I taught you was how to punch somebody and I didn't teach
Mm-hmm.
you everything else, what's the craziest thing? I'll share this. One my coach, my boxing coach, I'm gonna shout him out. Um, Angelo Nunez was the first one to put me on credit cards, put me on how to manage your credit, how to
Wow.
manage money. And I had just turned 18. I was 17, and I remember we were training, and I was like, I'm about to turn 18. It was like a month away from my 18th birthday, and he was like, you know what you need to do? You need to get a credit card. And all I heard in my life with my family was credit was bad, credit cards were bad. And he just educated me on credit and how to build credit. This is my boxing coach.
Wow. Right.
Right?
Right.
So that right there was like a taste of what I've always saw in coaches is they're mentoring you. Yeah, they're teaching you this, they're teaching you that. But look at these seeds that they're planting in you that have nothing to do with boxing.
Right.
And that's why to me it's very important, even now, when I sign up my kid to play any sport or anything, I look at who that person is that's gonna coach him and what qualities of a person do they have.
Ooh.
Because they are gonna be around my kid for an hour, 2 hours.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What kind of examples are they gonna
Sure.
set? I don't know.
Sure.
So I look for that. As before,
Sure.
I would have never thought of that
Sure.
because it's very important to me. But yeah, man, you hit that right on the money, man. Right on the money. Let's
And if you don't mind, I want to add to
man,
that too.
add to it.
Because
Of course.
because it's important that we know that, and because sometimes you know what I mean, because it goes deeper than just deeper than boxing, deeper than being a coach. But when I walk through the Jose Morales Boxing Academy and I come in here, man, I've met your staff. David, amazing dude.
Yeah.
Just nothing but good things. You know what I mean? Young man, Alex,
yeah.
such a nice. It's always hey, how you doing, man? The tall guy, tattoos.
Oh, Chip.
Yeah. What's up, coach? How you doing, man?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Other coach,
Coach Ray.
Coach Ray.
Romero.
Yeah. Coach Romero. What's up, man? And see, for me, that's the vibe. That's the and people have this perception about boxers being these barbarians, and a lot of these boxers that I've met, your guys, humble.
Mhm.
humble gentlemen, you know, class acts.
Yep.
You know
And
what I mean?
that's the example you set.
Yes.
You set the example, they'll follow
Yes.
exactly like that. And I can say the same about your
Thank you, sir.
staff.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
when every time, anytime, even your boxers, same. They're respectful, good attitude. You know, another thing, we even competed against each other.
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah.
look, check this out. We've not only trained next to each other, our gyms are close to each other. We've had competitions where his boxers competing against ours.
All love.
And my favorite part about it, regardless of the outcome, regardless of anything, we continue where we're at because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, those competitions are for the boxers to get better, but that doesn't mean I hate him. That doesn't mean he hates me. And we all going about it. Because some
That's right.
coaches are weird about that shit.
I believe it.
They're
Yeah,
weird.
For sure.
They're like,
For
oh,
sure.
you accepted this fight against one of my kids. Do you not like me? Bro, it's the freaking game. I'm
game.
trying to get them to get better. There's
Sure.
nothing against you. I don't care.
Sure.
If you look at it that way, but I'm just trying to get fights. I'm just trying to get
Right.
experience from my
Right.
guys.
Definitely.
Give me pros and cons as a coach. So give me a pro and a con. Something you love about coaching, something you do not like about coaching.
Man. Well, I love seeing the development, you know, cognitively, physically.
Yeah.
Just to see a young man starting, and then you look at him, you're like, dang,
Yeah.
boy, you know what I mean? Like, this works. You know what I'm
This
saying?
works.
You know, they're doing good, you know.
That's hella funny.
But like going back to you saying, man, I don't think anyone likes losing. Just that I try to compartmentalize that. You learn a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
You learn a lot too in that too. So, but like I say, for me, I'm like, ooh, you know what I mean? Ooh, it burns, it stings. But I'm learning as time goes by. It's a part of it. It's a part of life. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But see, you're gonna get the thing that's kind of, and I'm dealing with this often. You know, you'll get people and they'll question, but this or and they just, that's their personality. You know, I don't know, and I'm like, you don't believe me, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? It's like there's weight classes for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So what do you mean they question? Like, give me an example.
Oh man, for example, like, nah, man, there's a lot more to do. Don't worry about sparring right now.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Just but you know,
they're rushing it. They want everything.
bro.
But
They're
you know
rushing
what
the
it is? I
process.
feel too. It's there's a multiple reasons I feel why that happens. But a big one in our life now, we want everything instant.
Damn, well, see, I'm saying the same
Right?
thing. We're living this Amazon Prime life. Like, we can get everything right now.
Everything instant. Instant
Man,
text.
brother.
Instant.
Man, brother, you hit it online.
The fastest everything.
24/7, drive through. Now.
Yeah, now.
Yeah.
They don't. There's a journey. So they want to get in the gym, spar the next day, be a world champion the third day. It's like, dude, there's you're missing the journey. There's so much.
Yeah.
So I do. And that is a little frustrating. How do you communicate that? Like, what do you do? How do you get them to understand your athlete what you're doing? What
that's a good question. And honestly, like, rhetorically, verbally, my experience too. Like, I'm gonna say, man, I wanted to, rush it, to be I got this, I got that. Okay, that's great. You're gonna need that, but time. There's some development. We've seen it in hundreds, if not thousands, of fights. Guys going in there too early, you know what I mean? So there's time. I try. If you look at other countries, they take their time. They take. It's funny you mentioned your coach, Angelo. Years ago, I can't even tell you when we did the boxing clinics with him.
Yeah.
And I think we talked over the phone, but I never really face to face, whatever. But I remember listening to him, and he said, coaches, don't always be in a rush throwing your kids in there to spar, you know what I mean? Just wasting brain cells left and right. Like, develop them. There's a time and a place, and you know what I mean? And I remember another coach coming back, well, coach, they got to get in there. They got to know what it's like. Yeah, no, sure, but there's a process, you know what I mean? And reminded me of the school that I was at, where it was like, take your time. Footwork, fundamentals from the root to the fruit. It's gonna take some time. Don't rush it. You know what I mean? And so listen, hey, take your time, listen to me. I'll tell them to do this, think about this. I see these, and they don't want to listen. All right, fine. Get in there.
Yeah, and then you let.
And then baptism by fire.
Yeah. yeah.
Baptism by fire. You know,
Yeah.
that's another. I mean, do you want to learn that way?
How do you handle if parents get upset about that?
Oh man, as the years go on, when it comes to parents, it's even sometimes they're at fault.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're they're the same thing. It's
Yeah.
like, why have you been in there? Have you been
Parents, the kids are a lot like the parents. You can tell.
Many
You can
times.
tell who the parent is just because how the kid acts.
Many
Yeah,
times.
very true.
Many times.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenging one. I remember growing up because I had 5 different coaches.
Okay.
In different things. And one part of when I was at the center in downtown SAC, you were not allowed to hit the bag the first month. So the first month it was all shadow boxing. It was cardio. It was like jump rope, workouts, burpees, and just shadow boxing. And then after a month and you got your basics down, you graduated to gloves. You're like, oh shit, I can hit a bag.
That's
now.
awesome. Yeah.
You know, and then hitting the bag was exciting. And then you were on the bag for a minute. And then from there you graduated to partner stuff. And then you graduated into sparring. But it was a fucking process.
Right.
It wasn't just boom.
Right.
That's
That is tough.
that's what's tough. You having someone walk in and be like, you're only in a shadow box for a fucking month. Another thing, interesting story, and this is something that I use, and I'm gonna share with you. When I got to the center, I had left the center because my original coach, Tucker, which is Angelo's cousin, was working full time. He was gonna get a second job, so he wasn't no longer gonna be able to coach me. He said, go to the center to go box there since I'm gonna have 2 jobs. I can't coach you. I was following my coach's instructions. So I left, went to the center, and the first day I was like 13 years old. I didn't have a car or nothing. I lived in the north, the center's in downtown, no car. So I got there on public transportation, bus and light rail. I got there. When I got there, I walked in. He just told me, sit down on this bench. The coach, sit down on the bench. And I just sat down. I was just sitting there waiting. Hours go by when the gym's closing. I went up to him and I was like, hey, I want to talk to you about training here if you can be my coach. He said, come back tomorrow. That's literally what he told me. All right, so got back on the bus and light rail, left, went home. Next day, did the same bullshit.
Wow.
Went there, sat down, waited, didn't talk to me when it was closing, told me to come back tomorrow. I remember on the bus back home, I was mad. I was pissed off because I feel like he's wasting my time. I feel like he didn't like me.
Okay.
Right? I called my coach and I was like, dude, this dude's fucking with me. I don't think he likes me. I'm like, he's over here just telling me to come sit on this bench, leave, sit on this bench, leave. And then I didn't want to go. I honestly didn't want to go the third day. And my coach told me this, just do as you're told and just go back. If he told you go and sit down, just do it. All right, fuck. I went. On the third day, I just sat down on the bench, waited. And then when it was closing up, the mistake I made the first 2 times, I went up to him. This time, I didn't do nothing. I just sat on the bench and waited for him to come up to me. When they were closing everything, he comes up to me and he's like, all right, I can coach you now because you follow instructions. Wow. So then he allowed me to start training there. At the time, as a kid, I thought he was fucking with me. Now as a coach, years later, I understand what he was doing to me. What he was doing to me, he was seeing how well do you follow instructions. Because if you can't follow a simple instruction of sit there and don't move until I tell you to, how are you gonna listen to me telling you don't find nobody in the streets? How are you gonna listen to when I tell you stay in the gym, stay away from girls, stay away from that? If you're not gonna listen to that, why is it worth for me to invest in you more now if you can't follow those simple instructions? Does that make sense?
100%.
So that right there hit me big time. When when I got the gym and I started coaching, how can I test people that way? How can I make sure I phase out the people that don't want to do it?
I love it.
With the people that do? Because then the people that do deserve more, and the people that don't deserve what they want. You know, you give them what they want. They only want to hit the bag, give them that. They want to hit mitts, whatever. That's good.
Right. Okay.
But if you have people that are really committed to the art and want to get better, how do you get to those people to where they get to the next step? So that was a huge lesson for me.
That's awesome.
But it reminds me of a lot of the instant gratification that people want now, and how for coaches it's difficult to pass that message. You know what I'm saying? How do we pass that message of there's steps to be taken before you get there?
Right.
But yeah, So that was your pro. That was your con. To something you don't like about as a coach, right?
As a coach, yeah, I mean,
Yes.
the people not trusting the
that's something.
process.
Yeah, they're not trusting the process.
Right.
That is tough. One thing too, when I get that, if I tried several ways to help them,
Uh-huh.
but after several ways, if you just don't understand or don't trust in what I'm doing as a coach, maybe there's a different gym that's better for you. You know,
Right.
maybe there's something that works better. And I give them the blessings. Go. It's all
for
love.
For sure.
You know,
Likewise.
I want to see you do good, and maybe this place is not for you.
Right.
I'll share with you one of my cons. For me is when, as a coach, and I know you feel me on this, and I know we've had this conversation before. As a coach, we give so much of our personal time, of our like on the weekend, being away for competitions, or a week. I travel for like 7-10 days sometimes, gone away from my kids, my wife, and all this, investing time and money and this into boxers. And that's, I'm okay with that. What I'm saying is, what hurts when they just up and leave you without even saying thank you. The moment something doesn't go their way, the moment they're upset about something, or the moment they don't like something, they just leave you. That is what I think one of my biggest cons, because it hurts.
It does.
It hurts that you give somebody so much
Mhm.
and you never gave up on them. And the moment you don't do something they don't like, they give up on you.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? That is probably my biggest con. And that's something for me that with time,
Wow, I'd agree, yeah.
with time, I try to learn on how to handle that.
Right.
Because especially when you spend 3, 4, 5 years with a person and you get so close to them and then they just leave, it's almost like getting fucking dumped or getting a divorce. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I mean, and
Right?
because that's why they call a relationship a marriage, right?
Yeah.
Like the marriage between Emmanuel Stewart and
Yeah, because
Hearns, right? Have you heard that?
Yes.
So it makes
I feel
sense.
it. I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, I've had so many situations. I can tell you, and because the things that you do it genuine. Like the competition stuff and all that is one thing, but sometimes you do things that have nothing to do with that. Like I've done things at 2 a.m. pick up kids and they're in bad situations.
Yeah.
Answer phones in bad situations. I've done a job hunting for people where I'm trying to put them in a good workplace. Like, bro, who does this for you? Who does this for you? And you just turn your back on them the moment they told you something you didn't like, or the moment something didn't happen. You get what I'm saying?
Oh man, 100%.
So how do you handle that? I'm curious of how you handle that.
As time goes on, you had a couple times. It's kind of like, all right, well, we've been here before. You know, we've been here before. I've seen it, but it's tough, man. It burns. I've had it happen. You know, without a conversation, without a hey, this is you just you know.
The conversation helps. I think, yeah, if they leave or whatever and they come up and tell you thank you, look you in the eyes, say thank you, that at least feels better.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate.
It's just straight up ghosting you.
Yeah. No, for sure.
For sure.
But that is that. I think that's the thing that people don't realize, and especially after talking to these young boxers that, well, especially like the amateurs, it's like nothing's set in stone. Things can happen. You know what I mean? But we can travel. The guys don't show up. It happen. You know what I mean? Like it's when you're facing that guy in the opposite corner, then it's on. But a lot can happen between. I've had guys weigh in. I've had guys do the medicals. Everything's going ready to go, and they don't show up. I'm sure you've had that, right?
The worst one. I had a couple bad ones, but the worst one. We went to Idaho. And it was my son. Luckily, it was my son because I was going to be there regardless. But let's say it wasn't my son, and there was some other kid,
right,
and their parents that traveled to Idaho.
Right, yeah.
Luckily, it was mine. But we went to Idaho, weighed in, everything, done deal. My son was the first fight. We warmed up. We were in the ring, and the kid didn't pull up to the fight. We were in the ring already.
Damn.
We were in the ring. Doctor checked out, we weighed in, ate everything. We were in the ring and just didn't show up.
Wow.
So that was the worst one because I've never actually been in the ring. I've got it canceled before, like after weigh-ins or something like that. But damn, you got us in the ring. Like we're already here.
Yeah.
So
So
But-
that's why maybe that's a good thing that I tell these guys when they're in front of you. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
'cause-
you know what I mean?
Because it's
You know?
crazy. And another thing that we're on that topic, I feel like that's something that should change, where you should get
yes,
you should get fined or suspended
right.
or something.
I agree, man.
You know,
I
like
agree.
if you
I
committed
agree.
to a match and you just pulled out just
Yeah,
cause,
yeah. For
or-
sure.
Yeah, it's like, bro, you committed to it.
Committed
you
to
know?
it. And it's funny you say that. It's like when we teach these kids, our word is our bond.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be there. This is the weight I'm gonna be at.
Yeah, I'm there.
You know, I'm there.
Yep.
Don't just throw out a number. You make sure you're there. Make sure, you know what I mean? So I'm big on that.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
I mean,
huge.
you
I
gotta
like that.
die on the scales to make that weight because it's me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
It's my word.
yeah, man.
Don't make me look bad.
Yeah.
Don't make us look bad. All right, let's talk it up. Let's talk about a little positive side of the coaching.
Yeah.
Give me a memorable coaching story. Something that's like
man.
memorable to you. Like, man, this is one of my favorite memories.
I got a couple of them, coach. I
All
got
right,
several.
give me your
man.
top. You can share more than one.
Okay. One of them was this young man, and he was in the gym for a long time. I mean, you know, a couple years, and he, you know, he had it. You know, when you look at a kid and you're like, man, you can do it. If you wanted to kick it into fifth gear, and you can do it. What are you waiting for? I don't know, coach. I think I just wanted to. Okay, cool. You know, we didn't really we pushed him because we want, you know, because in my opinion, I feel like going into the boxing ring and coming out victorious is an experience that I wish everybody can experience that, bro.
I love that you say that. Hold on, before you continue,
Get chills,
why?
bro.
Why do you feel that way? Because you
man.
feel probably the same way as me.
Because it's
Why?
just izquierda and derecha. That's it, and you.
Yeah.
And it's like what George Foreman said, man, is all other sports is boxing is a sport that all others aspire to be.
Yeah.
And it's just that, and all of the hard work you put in, just that for those 6 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever,
Yeah.
you get that, and it's just so gratifying. It can be.
Yeah, and even if I feel like even if you lose a fight,
I agree.
even if you lose a fight, it puts you in a different place where life in general does not seem what it was before. Like, for example, I even tell you, like with my son, my oldest, hates boxing, right? This fucker does not like it at all. Always has hated it. The thing that tripped me out about him, his competitions, he never acted like he hated it. He was never scared or nothing, which was trippy.
Wow.
But besides the fact, like his first fight, he lost. I don't think he lost, but the outcome was a loss, right? And his demeanor and his attitude afterwards and everything was great. And when one time he would do things at school and he has like a business fair and has all this stuff, and he always tells me, nothing is worse than boxing. He's like, I had to fight somebody. He's talk in front of my class, do a business fair, sell this, sell that, no problem. He's I had to get in front of a whole bunch of people and like fight somebody. He's that was scary.
Right.
So what he learned was the scariest thing he did it alone. There's nothing else that could be more fear. That could be more fear to them.
Right.
That's what I feel everyone should experience.
I agree. Yes, I agree with
because
that.
you get so much confidence, and with confidence,
100%.
people change.
Right.
Males and females. You know, females are not going to be in situations because they have the confidence to walk away from them. Same thing with male.
That's
right?
awesome. Yeah,
And
I
a
don't think
male
of it
will
that
have
way.
the confidence to be a father figure and a husband, a leader, because he has that confidence. That's why, to me, it's so important that people experience that.
Right.
You're not going to get that in any other sport.
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
That's what you mean by it, huh?
100%. And it's funny you say that. One of the memories I have, right, is so finally Pelayo did it. He's like, all right, you know, I'm gonna send it. We're gonna go. And he had his first amateur bout, man. And that was like, it was like Barrera Morales or something.
Oh, they were going at it?
Dude, it was boonk, boonk. Like they were just dropping each other a couple times, dude.
What?
Yeah, it was. I've never seen a fight like that.
In amateurs?
In the amateurs, right?
And they didn't stop it?
Boom, boom. No, honestly, boom, he dropped them. It wasn't bad, but they both got dropped. It came out, and he won. You know, I think we're at it was like a it was a show in Prescott, Arizona, and it was awesome, man. We like the whole team, majority of us won, and Bella was in the locker room when he's taking his stuff, and dude, he's eyes, bloody nose, like he won, but a lot of times, guys, you win the fight, but
Yeah.
and we're like, oh, I'll never forget. Wow, that's awesome, bro. See, that was great, man. You know what I'm saying? We'll do it again. And he was like, hell no. He's like, hell no. And he meant it. And we were all laughing. I'll never forget him, coach. He's taking his cup off. He's like, no, hell no. And you're still kind of in the air. Like,
that was his first fight and his last fight.
And his first and last. But fast forward that a few years down the line, right? And Coach Brad Carlton came to me at the gym, and he's like, "Hey, guess what?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I'm doing work at the University of Arizona. So the University of Arizona Stadium, football stadium, they put out this big, what do they call it, like a jumbotron or something,
Yeah.
and he was doing construction work. And Brad, my coach, was telling me, "You're not gonna believe this. I'm over there, man." And I hear, Coach. And he turns back, and it's Belayo in a hard hat and his stuff. And he runs up to Coach. "What's up, Coach?" He's like, "Serge, what are you doing here, man?" He's like, "Hey, Coach, uh, I graduated with an engineering degree, and I'm a part of this project, and I'm doing this right here, right now." And he's like, "And I almost quit. On my senior year in engineering. It was so tough. The grades are tough. And but I just want to say thank you, man, because without that experience in boxing, I'd have quit." And he did. Two men sitting there crying in hard hats, you know what I mean? And they were like, "Coach, thank you." And because nothing, my dad was telling me, "Sergio, look what you did. If you can do that, you can figure it out, man. Figure it out. Get your degree, figure it out. You can do that. You can almost do anything." Going in there, and that stuck with me immediately. And he was like, and I think, when you as a coach and as a competitor, it's only something that you can understand. Like when you go in there, man, outside becomes a little bit easier.
It does.
You know what I
becomes
mean?
easier. Yep.
So that's one of the, it's very similar like to your son right
That's
there.
a badass story.
And that stuck with me like that. And that's one of many. You know what I mean? That's one of many. But that one right there, that's congruent to your story as well, man. Yeah.
That's badass.
Ain't it though?
It's hella funny how he said, "Never again."
Oh, it's funny. It's funny because we laughed. Me and my wife was there. And he was like, "No, I'm not having it."
This is it. I ain't doing this shit again. So, what is now that we're talking, what is your future plans? Do you have anything you want to do in your goals or anything you're working towards or anything?
I mean, I love business. Maybe expanding for, you know what I mean? I have friends back in Arizona that run, gyms as well. So we'll see, man. I don't know.
Boxing gyms?
Yeah. Boxing gyms. Yeah, big
I
shout
have a
out
friend in Arizona.
Oh yeah, what?
He's in Tucson.
He's in Tucson?
He used to
No
run.
way.
He used to run a gym called Sweet Science Boxing.
Really?
It was newer though.
Okay.
Before cause you were over here already. Ruben. His name is Ruben Bravo. Shout out to Ruben, by the way. If he gets down in Tucson, I'm like,
really?
Yeah,
Right
he's in Tucson.
Man.
Yeah,
that's cool.
But yeah, that's cool. So, what about business do you like? You say you like business. What about?
So I actually finished my degree during COVID, and I got a degree in communication with a minor in business. So I've always liked and loved the entrepreneurial, spirit of business and finance and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And so I like business. I love that. I'm fascinated by it. So but right now, as far as I got my hands full with the kids, and it's good to have goals. But we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah,
it's always about growing.
That's something that you're interested in, though. That's something that has your interest for sure, though.
Oh, for sure.
That's
for
good.
Sure. For sure.
What happened to the barber? And I remember you were into that.
Man, and I love it. That's as a kid, I was doing that too. Like I said, I had 3 brothers, bunch of friends, and I enjoy doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I really do enjoy doing it. It's almost like
you don't do it no more.
I do.
Oh, you still do it?
I do. I have an office I do it out of, and but yeah, I enjoy it. It's another connection between you and you know, I got clients that I've had for a long time, and it's just, it's very similar to coaching, and that, you know, you're just sitting there and
Talking.
talking, man, talking about life, talking about you know, parenting
Yeah.
and stuff like that. You know,
You could definitely leave inspired or motivated.
oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Depending on who
yeah.
your barber is.
Yeah. That's true.
Or depressed. Like, damn, this fucking guy. Right?
Yeah, man, but that's what I tell them. I mean, the difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut is 2 weeks.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good
You
one.
know what I'm saying?
All right, give me your pound for pound best boxer right now. Let's talk boxing.
Ooh, okay, right now?
Right now, who's just today? Who's the best boxer in your opinion right now?
I'm gonna say Terrence Crawford.
Hey, I like your style, baby. Man, I like you more every
And by
time.
the way, I lost a bet. Remember, a long time ago, I thought it was Spence.
Yeah.
Wow. Remember, I texted like, wow. Did you think it was gonna be that? I mean, but with all the damage and what have you.
Let me tell you this.
Okay.
I love Crawford way before.
Okay.
I've always liked him, but the reason what made me like him more every time is his smarts. I don't think people have his smarts. You know what I mean? He's very he punishes you and he takes away your weaknesses. I mean, like whatever you're good at, he takes away and he attacks your weaknesses. Not every boxer does that. Like when he fought Victor Pistol, the guy that was with Freddie Roach.
Right.
If you remember, Pistol was known for his right hand. So he was known to hit hard with the right hand. So what did Crawford do the whole time? Crawford constantly kept moving to Pistol's left. So it was hard for him to land the right hand because he was moving this way and he was moving away from his right hand. And the whole time he couldn't throw that and he kept attacking his weak side. Made it very difficult for him. When I see somebody do things like that and beat people with just smarts and IQ, and he's a fucking dog. Like when he hurts you, he finishes you.
Right.
And he's very competitive. And he's both orthodox and southpaw. And another thing, how many people do you know have a coaching staff of 3 different coaches and they all pitch in different styles and they all work well with each other?
Wow,
you know what I'm saying? That's very unique. Very unique. So to me, that's the whole package. You know, that's why I like him. That's why I've always believed in him. I'm like, Errol Spence is not going to beat him. And I'm like, if he beats him, he has to knock him out. And I heard, you know, Errol Spence hits hard and all that, but I was like, I mean, you're not saying it's impossible, but I see Crawford being smarter about that. And I feel the same way with him and Canelo. What do you feel about him and Canelo fighting?
So is that official?
I heard. I don't know how official it is, but
yeah,
I heard they're trying in September. But if they do fight, what's your take on that fight? There is a big, like you said earlier, weight classes are there for a reason.
Sure.
So that is,
Sure.
it is a thing.
Sure.
You know, Canelo is a lot bigger as far as muscular. Height-wise, he's not bigger, but he definitely has more body mass. What's your take on that fight?
No, man. I don't know. But if there is a guy out there that can beat Canelo, it would be Terrence Crawford.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Me personally, like the day of, I don't know. I mean, Terrence Crawford, he's getting better and better and better. So he's, you know, that momentum means a lot too. You know, I don't know. The other thing also too, in my opinion, is you know, where's the weight going to be at? Can Terrence transfer it over into the higher weight?
Yeah, I don't think he'll knock him out like Crawford. But Canelo, if you pay attention, his weakness is boxers. Like if you got a jab in his face, you're not, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you're saying Canelo?
Canelo's weakness.
Kind of see that with Bivol.
Yeah, and like Mayweather.
Oh, yeah.
And Bivol, you know, you box him, he's good. Now, his strength is power. So if you don't got a chin on you, this fool cracks you, it's a fucking wrap.
Oh, you for Canelo?
Yeah, like that's his strength. So that's the big what if. Can Crawford handle Canelo's power and Canelo's, you know, his feints and how he sets up his shots? Who knows? We'll find out. Yeah. But I still I have faith in Crawford. I like both. I'm not saying I hate Canelo, but Yeah, I agree with you pound
Yeah.
for pound. All right. Best ever. Who's your pound for pound best ever?
Pound for pound, best ever.
Ever.
I mean, that I saw.
Yeah, you.
Or just the boxing knowledge.
Just you. Yeah, you can do whatever you want to say.
There's bias there. Or,
Yeah.
you know?
Give me yours.
Man, I'm gonna say Julio.
Julio?
For me, I mean,
Yeah,
man,
it's somebody you grew up with.
I don't know, man. I think I got a lot of there's bias there, but pound for pound ever, you know, I don't know, man. I you know, haven't really dissected and watching the fights of Sugar Ray Robinson and that's a good question. Like, people ask me that too, and I'm like, man, I don't know. Then you think about weight classes and eras and who fought. You know,
and then you also got to look at what
tough.
I try to judge it too off what they did with their career,
right,
and who they fought.
That's
you know
true.
what I'm saying, and what difference did they change? Like for example, like basketball, Jordan changed the game completely.
Right.
Before Jordan,
right.
people weren't dunking like him. People weren't doing things like him. He changed the game.
He changed the game.
And then after Jordan, everyone wanted to be like Jordan.
Like Mike.
That makes sense?
For sure.
That's changing the game.
For sure.
In boxing, who changed the game?
I would say Floyd.
I was just about to tell you.
If you're talking about changing the game.
Yeah, who changed the game, did something, and people don't give him credit for it because the way he went about it was kind of sucky. But the guy got balls, the guy got chin, the guy got boxing, the guy got power.
Yeah.
The guy is smart, he made money, he changed the game. And who does everyone want to be like now?
Pretty boy.
So
more money.
In a way, he's kind of the Jordan of boxing.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree. So, I mean, as far as people saying like, you know, no. Definitely, we're talking like that, you know, change the game. Yeah, he's TB. He's the Michael Jordan of basketball to boxing.
He changed it in a way too. He kind of ruined it too.
Okay.
The reason why I feel like he kind of ruined it is because prior to the Floyd Mayweather era, people would just fight and I give a fuck, Now it's like a business. Oh, how much money am I gonna make? If I lose, they're dodging. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, in a way, they kind of ruined it.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion as far as best ever.
No, for sure. So you say you put Floyd as far as the best ever as a
pound for pound, like who changed the game?
Who changed the game?
Best,
okay.
You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, I also like Muhammad though, because what Muhammad Ali did is great. Also,
that's the truth too.
You know what I'm saying? So
back in the day,
you can't dodge that. But then there's a shit ton of good fighters.
I know that's tough. You know that for me that's tough. But yeah, I get what you're saying because now you know, and when you talk about that, change the game. One thing that I see about what Floyd made it known is to, you know, solidify your future. You know, I feel like, man, every fighter should get astronomical amount of money, in my opinion. Not, you know what I mean? There's levels, but I mean it's sad, you know what I mean? Like you put your life, your health at risk, you know what I mean? And then when it's all said and done, what do you have? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
but that's also a big part of that. Also, I'm not saying they don't need to get paid a lot. They do need to get paid, but a big part of that is a financial literacy.
Yes, 100%.
If you look at any other sport like NBA, when you get drafted, they educate you on money. They educate you on you're gonna get this amount of money. You should do this with this kind of money. That makes sense?
Oh, 100%.
Versus a lot of boxers get it, and the first thing they do is car, chain, this and that.
Yeah.
And then that's why later on they're doing exhibitions and they're doing this, right? So I also feel that's a big part of it. But they definitely do need to get paid well also. But yeah.
What's your take on like the amount? Promoters, they're taking 33, 20, I mean, half of your check is just going, and then taxes and stuff like. So I guess going back to what you're saying, they need to be well learned on.
I think that's where a key part of having a good manager probably is important. But I do feel, and I get this. I talk to people in the music industry. I talk to people in the business of boxing, obviously, and they feel a certain way of like, oh, it's my music. Why are they making the promoter or the making this much money on my music? Or the fighter is like, why is the promoter making this much money when I'm the one fighting? But at the end, you guys have to, hopefully they understand it's a team effort.
Yeah.
You're fighting that guy, he's fighting. you guys are the show, but we're the ones promoting the show.
That's true.
Putting on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest ones, we're the ones taking the risk financially.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking the risk physically, but we're taking the risk financially.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at all that as far as who does what, I think it's fair to do the 70 for the athletes, right?
Okay.
70% to the athletes and the 30 for promoters and everything else.
Managers.
Yeah, and that I don't think it should be like a 50-50. Definitely not a 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they also need to get their money. I mean, they're investing and putting just a big risk as everybody else, if not bigger. You know.
That is,
as far as financially.
Financially,
yeah.
Setting up the venue, funding the money out.
They lose money. They lose. Sure. They're fucking bankrupt, and then boom, you never hear that promotion company again.
Right.
So
right. And then going back to where you're talking about Floyd being the, starting his own promotions and you know what I mean, really changing the game. Now you have everybody being their own promoter now.
Yeah, everyone's their own promoter. Yeah, it's just boxing evolved,
Right.
It's not the same it was 50, 60 years ago.
Right, right.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna add, was there anything you see personally that you would like to see change in boxing?
I was actually gonna ask you the same question. No joke. I was gonna ask you the same question. Dude, I'll give you a list of things. I got a shit ton of things.
Okay.
But me personally, 2 things that are big for me. How you treat the athletes. I think the athletes should be number one, like I told you, as far as the pay. I mean, not 90% of the pay, but just the way you treat them as far as retirement, healthcare, education on money. Treat them like the world star athlete that they are, because they are world star athletes. They dedicated their life to this. So to me, that's something important. Another thing that's important that I feel should change is the integrity in the matches. Having fights that actually have integrity behind them. What I mean by that is when you watch boxing, it's very obvious of who's the guy that's supposed to win and who's not supposed to win. Imagine watching basketball, football, any other fucking sport, and this team has to win. Why? Damn, fucking everything is going in their favor. It's obvious. And this team has no fucking chance at all. Not even a slim chance. There's just no chance at all.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is a turnoff. And that to me, I feel creates people. I mean, it doesn't create exciting fights when they're equal. And then you have excitement. Oh, like the fight you told me about. This guy dropped this guy. This guy dropped this guy. You get that exciting Cinderella story. So I feel that's something that's really missing. And the biggest one is creating the connection with fans, with communities. And how do you do that? Is you gotta be able to showcase boxers for free. Everything you have to pay a subscription. You gotta pay-per-view. Everything is pay. And if you look at what made boxers popular, like Muhammad Ali, you turn on TV on Saturday, he'd be on ABC for free. Sugar Ray Leonard, Richard Duran, all them. There was fights where they were showcased for free. They weren't all pay-per-view every time. So when they're always pay-per-view, you don't give them the chance of regular people to fall in love with them. So those are a few things that I would change. And those are things that I feel like if you tackle those, you're in a good spot. How about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's funny you say that, because I align with, like, you already know. They got the A side, the B side.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's, so more 50-50, more, records coincide.
Yeah, and I get why it's like that. I get it.
Sure.
But boxing evolved so much. It's not the same. It's not the fucking same. So I feel like boxing evolved, but the business hasn't. The athletes evolved. Like before, you didn't have kids at 8 years old starting boxing. Now you do. You have kids at 8, 9 years old going to national tournaments. Before you didn't. You have boxing in the Olympics in male and female before you didn't. So the sport itself grew so much, but the business side of it is the same thing, and it is not favoring the athlete and the fans and the business. It's not coinciding with each other. Does that make sense?
It does. It really does, man.
So that's something I think about all the damn time. What's one boxing fight you can watch over and over and over that you love?
Oh, one boxing fight. Oh man, that's funny. It's funny because sometimes I got a TV at the gym. I just pop one up. You know, Coach Mike will come in. You know, shout out to Coach Mike. He's my brother, man. What made you think of this one? What made you think of that one? What made you think? I don't know. It just popped up. Oh man, one that stands out to me because it was just such a beautiful display of boxing, like pure boxing. It's just one that stands out is De La Hoya Trinidad.
Yeah.
You know, that's a.
How'd you feel about him moving around the last 4 or 5 rounds?
I don't know, man. I mean,
So you think De La Hoya won, or do you think
I
it
thought
was?
so. I thought
Yeah,
it was.
I thought he
I
won
thought
too.
he won.
He
you
was
know?
moving around, but he dominated.
Yeah, yeah. There was this. I mean, it's stuck in my head. It's very hard in boxing to land a flush 1, 2, 3, and I saw him do that to Trinidad. I was like, wow, that's amazing. You know what I mean? That was boom, boom, boom. That was just So that one. There's a bunch that stand out. What's the old school? I think it was here either in Sacramento or Oroville. It was Bobby Chacon and Lamone and the Four.
Yeah.
And these guys fought. That was a good display of Southpaw Orthodox. Yeah. That was a good one. So many, man. I probably couldn't, I'm a big Holyfield fan. So him and Bo and Gotti Ward. Man,
my favorite one
on and on.
is, sorry to my Filipinos out there, but my favorite one is Pacquiao Marquez 4.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I can watch that fight over and over.
One of our coaches was there.
Yeah, that shit.
He said it went silent.
Everything about that fight was badass to me. Where we watched it, I remember when Pacquiao got knocked out. No joke, my friends picked me up and they had me in the air. We were just we were fucking going crazy.
Really?
It was fucking.
Counter right hand or was it?
Yeah, as he slipped over, crack,
right
and
hand.
And he just went,
stepped into it. Oh,
like
man.
that. That's literally.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That was one.
I like Manny too. Manny's tight, but the rivalry was just good.
Man.
And that fight was good because if you remember, Marquez dropped him. I think it was in the second round. And then after that, in the fifth, Pacquiao dropped Marquez. In the 5th round, he dropped him. So it was even. It was like they both dropped each other. And then in the 6th, Pacquiao was winning the round. And then put him to sleep.
That was a bad knockout.
It was bad, but it was a good fight.
Right.
Yeah, that's the kind of fights we're missing. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
All right, man. So is there anything you want to add to the podcast before I end it? It was badass talking.
Right, man. Thank you so much. That was great, man. Really appreciate it. It's always a breath of fresh air to sit down and talk to somebody who understands the coaching. You know what I mean? What it entails. Sun up to sundown. Sometimes dark when you start, dark all that, man, and everything and all the hats. You know what I mean? That it entails. You know all this stuff. So it's a good, man. That was a pleasure to be here, man. Thank you so much, man.
Hey, you talking about the hats? Talk about the hats that all entails with being a boxing coach. Give me a couple. Let's talk about them.
Whether you like it or not, a psychologist.
Yep, a therapist.
Yeah, financial advisor.
Not a good one, but I'm good.
Yeah. Well, for the kids.
No, you're right.
As they get older,
you mention
the mentorship. Some kids that you come in and
and then from that, you also have your family.
Yeah.
You also have your kids.
Yes.
So it's like, I give to this kid, but I take away from here.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's very tough.
Oh, for sure.
That is a very hard one.
They call me the fun sponge at the house. You know
what
I mean? No.
Don't
do this. Don't do this. You know what I mean? I just, I love it though, man. Being a father.
And our kids are the same age.
That's right. Yeah.
That's what I remember. Right. Our kids are the same age.
That's right. Yeah. So what are your kids doing right now? What are they like
my
doing?
My oldest, he's really into art, so he does greeting cards.
Oh, nice.
And he sells them.
That's great.
He literally this week, he's been posting up here, and he's been making like $50, $60 every day. And he uses this table. He sits up in the front. Because Valentine's Day is coming up, and he draws Valentine's Day greeting cards.
Wow.
Paints them, sells them. And then he's been doing the greeting cards now for like a few years, but lately he's been hitting it harder as far as he's been thinking about how he's gonna expand it. Like, how can I sell
Wow,
more?
dude.
What do I got to do next? He's 10. He's turning 11 in February. He turns in 2-3 weeks. He turns 2 weeks. He turns 11.
Wow.
So that's what he's doing.
Alonso?
Alonso, yeah.
Happy birthday, Alonso.
Yes,
right
sir.
on, man.
And then my
Right on.
youngest, Valentin, he just turned 7 in November. He's a handful, man. He's just trying to. He's doing his boxing right now. My rule is you got to compete. You got to win once, and you don't got to do it no more.
Wow,
So-
that's awesome, man.
So,
Okay,
and to
okay,
me, the reason why
okay.
that's important to me, besides the confidence that we talked about
Uh-huh,
earlier,
uh-huh.
I think that's huge. But to me, another reason why it's important to me is I'm a father and I'm a coach. So how can I expect all these other people to bring their kids to my business, my gym, trust my philosophy, and do what I'm trying to do with their kids if I never had my kids do it? You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
It's like, so you want my kids to compete, but you never had your kids compete. So
I like that. That's
you get what I'm
interesting.
saying?
Yeah,
It's like,
absolutely.
so you trust
Absolutely.
and believe in boxing so much, but you don't want your kids to do it, but you want my kids to do it. So to me, it's kind of leading by example.
Okay.
With my kids, when I coach them the same way I coach everybody else's kids. I don't separate. I'm not doing mixed with my kid only and training just my
right.
kid.
Yep.
I treat my kid just like every other kid.
That's awesome.
I do the exact same thing because I believe in my system and I believe in what I do as a coach. Does that make sense?
100%.
So that's why it's important to me. But yeah, my youngest is, I'm just trying to, he's going to be in boxing until he hits 8, competes. Once he's done competing, he can do whatever the hell he wants, but he has to compete. And that's it. Wife's good. And that's it. How about your kids? What are they doing?
They do a lot. My son likes soccer.
Mm-hmm.
He likes soccer. He does soccer. He has a good golf swing.
Oh, he does?
He has a good. He's been swinging. He comes to his dad to the range, and we go out to the course. He's on youth on course, so he likes golf as well. He's teaching me how to play chess right now.
My son loves chess.
Does he?
They should play. My son,
That'd
my
be
oldest,
cool.
Alonso,
Okay.
is a freaking chess beast,
Really, bro? That's
he
great.
sits up here and just chesses it out.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm staring at him, and I'm just like, wow, this is crazy.
I don't get down with it. I don't know how to play.
Yeah. Dad, don't do that, Dad. That's not the move.
Dad is playing checkers. I don't know. I've never played chess in my life. No one's ever taught me nothing. And my son knows the moves, knows what to do. Yeah. Him and my youngest play with each other.
Oh, really? They both? That's cool, man. Yeah. That's cool. I can see you're thinking, 2 steps ahead and stuff like that.
You should bring them and have them play each other.
Okay,
that'd be
cool,
tight,
man.
That's
that
cool.
would be
Or
cool.
I'll go over there and have them play.
Absolutely, man.
And he likes soccer too.
Yeah.
How about your youngest?
Oh, well, he's my youngest. My daughter, she's Alonso's age, right? She's 10, and she likes jujitsu, man. She likes jujitsu. She's really aggressive in there. She likes jujitsu. She also does gymnastics and dance like that. So we just keep them busy.
Yeah.
She the other day we ran to the gym. She did a little workout there.
Well,
I could see her doing it quicker than my son. You know what I mean? She just has that. But
low fire.
Yeah.
I always feel like the youngest one has got more of a. Oh, your youngest?
Yeah. She's funny. My youngest, he's like, nah.
For me, my youngest is the one that's like more.
That's usually.
Yeah. My oldest is more like listens, follows directions. What do you need done? He gets it done. My youngest is kind of lagging. I'm like, come on, hurry up. He's like, like he's on his own time.
Yeah.
My oldest is just like, what do you need, Dad? I got you. And my youngest, I'm like, damn, bro, speed it up. Speed it up.
Yeah. That's
tight.
cool, but I'm loving it, man.
So tell everybody about your gym. Where's it at? How can they stay in contact?
7211. Yeah. We're online, Roseville Boxing Academy. We got an Instagram page, Facebook page. Yeah, give us a call. Thank you so much. Jose Morales, man. Appreciate you so much, bro.
No, I appreciate you. I think that's it. Thank you so much for coming on, brother.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
Yes,
man.
sir.
Right.
That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode with Abe, Coach Abe at Roseville Boxing Academy. If you know somebody that will like this episode, maybe another coach, maybe someone locally, share this episode with them, like it. If you have not subscribed, subscribe. And check us out in the next episode here in a couple weeks. I'm gonna be bringing on another special guest. This one you're familiar with. You guys will like if you're in the gym. If you're not in the gym, it's a different one, but it's boxing related, just the amount of what boxing has done in his life. So it's a great episode. Don't miss out. And I'll see you in a couple weeks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm out.